Americans getting fed up with Washington and losing confidence in all branches of government. Some are now looking for a new direction in American politics. Our political insiders are back. Pat Caddell, John LeBoutillier, and Doug Schoen. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Is corruption widespread in this country or not? A Gallup poll came out, and the numbers speak for themselves. John?
In the government, while it is, you're right, widespread in this country. Look how it's gone up in, 7 years? 20%. Huge.
80%. I mean, This is unbelievable. John is absolutely right, Julie. We are talking about a crisis of confidence in our government that threatens really the viability of all our institutions, something Pat has weighed in eloquently on just recently.
And we're going to get into that in just a moment. I want to go through another one of these polls. We have a few of them here. A Gallup poll asking Americans whether they're losing confidence in all branches of U.S. government. And if you take a look at the numbers, in 2014, actually, less people are less confident in the Supreme Court as opposed to last year. Less confident in the presidency as well?
So it's level of confidence. So if you go to the right-hand column, that's the lowest numbers in each one.
It's just getting worse and worse by the year.
So the Supreme Court is the one that's really gone down.
Congress is no surprise. I mean, people are very disappointed with Congress. But it seems, though, Pat, not only are the American people very frustrated with Congress, obviously President Obama is. He can't seem to get anything through Congress, which is why, as we spoke about earlier, how he just sort of takes matters into his own hands because he can't really trust his own elected officials.
Well, I think that the entire system in Washington is so broken. And what the American people are saying is that it's affecting their view. The Gallup also had some numbers that were quite interesting, that these views about government corruption and so forth affected their view of how freedom worked, that they were less free because of it, and they're right. The president can't do business with the Republicans won't do business. But this is a game going on in the political class, and it's one the American people don't like, and they figured it out. As Doug said, it's a crisis of confidence.
It is, but I want to throw one thing in. This is the second president in a row, George W. Bush first and now Barack Obama, who got elected. And once they took office, the public was behind them, and they had a Congress of their own party, right? And what they did was they went to the extreme on an issue that they personally were obsessed with. So Bush was obsessed with Saddam Hussein, and it proved to be the undoing of his presidency.
Right.
Obama was obsessed with getting this health insurance plan done no matter what. He wouldn't talk to a Republican, wouldn't work with a Republican, so they're not invested in it. He has spiraled out of control because of that.
Neither party, neither president is committed to doing the people's business, as we were talking about, getting results, restoring confidence in Washington, revitalizing the economy, compromising for the public good. That's why the credibility of institutions are in question. That's why we're facing a real constitutional and political crisis.
Let's talk about We Need Smith, Pat.
Yeah. Well, look, I worked with the project with several other people, including Bob Perkins and Scott Miller, for 6 months on an intense research project, wondering if there was an alternative, if people were looking for a different political approach than the one they had now. And what did they think about now? The results were staggering. The alienation in this country is beyond belief. And the willingness to want to consider something different, it's numbers I've never seen. But look, we're talking about 80-some% of the American people who believe that the Democrats and Republicans together are taking care of themselves at the expense of the country. We have 3/4 of the American people who say until you fix this political system, nothing will work. And we had a candidate, when we tested our hypothetical Smith candidacy, it was staggering. Once we had a program and a reform and in a common sense issue program, Smith was winning. 3/4 of voters were willing to elect him or her to the Senate. They were willing to elect Smith as a Democrat, a Republican independent. 2/3 were willing to elect him as president. And when we tested Smith against real flesh and blood, Hillary Clinton and Chris Christie, Smith won by 20-some points behind that platform. And this is a mythical candidate in the year, I must say, of the great movie, the 75th anniversary of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. But the more important thing, if people want to find out, what we realized was necessary is we need to tell the American people they are not alone. This is a different system they want, and the one no one speaks about, and particularly about corruption. And they should go to it, and the place is for them to be able to join together and speak out.
Break. Pay the bills around here. Somebody's got to pay the bills. Not me, though. So I'm going to take a quick break. But we have been asking all of you to follow us on Twitter and write us, and a lot of you are firing back. Our next topic, Hillary Clinton donating to charity for the hundreds of thousands of dollars that she earns in speaking fees. The Clinton Initiative, that is. Next.